When we talk about self-care, what is the first thing that springs to mind? Maybe it's expensive manicures or those LED face masks, spa days. And yes, while these things are all absolutely lovely and can 100% be part of your self-care routine, I want to show you how to build a self-care routine that actually makes you feel better on a deep level from the inside out. And I also want to show you that having a self-care routine that properly helps you does not have to cost the earth. In fact, pretty much all the things I'm going to be sharing in this video are free or don't cost a lot of money. You do not need to go and empty your bank account to be able to do this stuff. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the exact framework that I teach my coaching clients, except you are getting it all for free. If we haven't met before, I'm Dr. Sarah. I'm a medical doctor and an online coach, and I help healthcare professionals get out of survival mode. So if that's you, check out the description box down below for some freebies and for the link to my membership. So here is what we're going to be covering in today's video. And of course, I'll leave timestamps below as well, so you can skip through to the bits that are the most important to you. And if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. So let's get clear about what we actually mean when we're talking about self-care. So here is my definition of self-care. Self-care is recognizing, taking responsibility for, and fulfilling your own needs. So first of all, recognizing your own needs, actually becoming aware of what your mind and body are telling you that they need. Secondly, stepping up and taking responsibility for those needs. And thirdly, going ahead and making the time, making the effort to fulfill those needs yourself. I like to think of good self-care as looking after the three versions of yourself: your past self, your present self, and your future self. So if you think about it, when you're looking after yourself really well, when you're doing the things that move you towards your goals, you are looking after that past version of you. You are saying to past you, look, I'm doing it. I'm making your dreams happen. And you're laying the foundations for future you to build upon. So think about it this way. Right now, I feel really good. I have energy. I feel well. I'm well rested. I've been eating well. And that's because, yes, I'm taking good care of myself, like today in the present moment. Also, I've been doing that for days, weeks, months. So past me has laid the foundations for me feeling well and living a good life today. And the sad reality is that the majority of people that I coach are healthcare professionals who are burnt out, who are living in survival mode. And we are so used to giving. We give way too much of ourselves, our time, our energy, our resources. We're giving away all of the time. We leave nothing for ourselves. We don't even meet our basic needs a lot of the time. I heard a phrase recently, which is setting yourself on fire to keep those around you warm. I think this is a really good analogy of what we do when we're ignoring our own self-care. This is why I talk so much about people pleasing on this channel, because when you're a people pleaser, you neglect your own needs for the sake of everyone else around you. This is not it. This is not how to live a good life. This is a recipe for disaster. I used to live like this. I used to say that I got by on caffeine, cortisol, and dry shampoo. And that was so true, because I was living this crazy, busy life, giving away all my time and energy to everybody else and not really meeting my own basic needs. And that was a recipe for resentment, being unhappy, being exhausted all the time, frankly, being ill all the time. So if you've been on my social media before, you have probably heard me banging on about taking exquisite care of yourself. And that is exactly why. I've spent years digging myself out of this pit of not looking after myself very well, just being tired and exhausted all the time. And I feel so much better for it now. And I really want to pass this message on and help you do the same, because life doesn't have to be this way. Life is not meant to be a struggle all the time. Okay, so you might be thinking to yourself, great, I really want to take good care of myself, Sarah, but I don't have time. I've got kids. I've got a really busy job, all of these things. Now, let me tell you, our brains love the familiar. Our brains love our habits. Our brains love routines. We love to know what is predictable for us. And this is why we get stuck in bad habits and bad routines and bad cycles, because they're familiar. And it's hard to start new things. So our brains come up with reasons why we can't do the hard thing and why we can't do the thing that actually benefits us in order to stay safe and to stay familiar. So our brains will tell us things like, I don't have time because I've got kids. I don't have time because I've got this busy job. When I'm off of work, I should be spending that time with my friends and family. It would be selfish for me to go and take myself off and have some self-care time. I've got way too many chores to do to be able to take self-indulgent time for self-care. This is our brain trying to tell us to stay in the familiar. So I just wanted to let you know about that, because this is definitely something that I see coming up time and time again with coaching clients and with myself. So yeah, just wanted to make you aware of that in case your brain starts coming up with lots of reasons and excuses why you can't do things. And another thing that I saw recently that really inspired me was that you can use those things as your excuse, or you can use them as your catalyst. If that message hasn't hit home, then I'm going to give you some tough love and say that actually, if you're not taking the best possible care of yourself, it's actually selfish. Now, hold up. You're going to be like, Sarah, that's really harsh. If you're willfully neglecting your own self-care, you are actively not showing up as your best self. You're choosing not to show up to your life as the best version of you. You're making a decision to neglect your own self-care needs. You've got a responsibility to take good care of yourself. We are not in the business of just scraping by, just getting through the week, just surviving. We're here to give ourselves an incredible life, to have adventures, to explore, to have fun, to experience joy every day, to fill our lives with nourishment and excitement, rest and relaxation. As I've gotten older, I've slowly awakened to this idea that the better care I take of myself, the better my life becomes in all areas. My relationships improve, my health has improved. The small acts of self-care that we do every day compound, and they have a massive effect over time. That feeling of well-being that you have when you take really good care of yourself rubs off on other people. They become inspired by you taking such good care of yourself. It almost gives them permission to do the same. I want to remind you that the goal for all of this stuff is not to do it perfectly. The goal is to show up for yourself consistently. Show yourself that you're worthy of a good life, and to show yourself that you deserve to be taken care of. And you can do that for yourself. And to remember that you do not have to sacrifice your own health and well-being for the sake of other people, for the sake of your job. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep everyone around you warm. Okay, so let's actually get you on track with your self-care. Here's how I teach self-care to my coaching clients. So you've probably heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow proposed that humans have layers of needs, and that we only start looking to fulfill the higher needs once our most basic needs are met. So starting at the base of the triangle, we have physiological needs. These are our most basic needs as a human being. These need to be taken care of first and foremost. Like, it's hard to go about your day-to-day life if you're completely exhausted all the time. You're just literally not getting enough sleep. That was me. Or not meeting your basic nutritional requirements, or not getting any exercise, or if you have a health problem that you've just been ignoring. So these are always the first things I address with my clients: getting good quality sleep, eating a nutritious diet, whatever that looks like for you, getting plenty of exercise, again, whatever looks best for you, and taking care of any health complaints that you might have, making sure that you've booked into the opticians, you've got your dentist's appointment, you've seen your GP for that health problem that you've been ignoring. And this is why I say that there's no point in getting that expensive manicure. There's no point in using that LED mask every day and going to the spa if you've completely ignored the fact that you're dehydrated. You've completely ignored the fact that you've only been sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night for the last few years. The next layer is your safety needs. So this is about feeling safe in your life. So moving to a safe neighborhood, being around people who are safe, getting out of relationships with people who are toxic, setting boundaries in your life, and creating emotional safety. So having the chance to speak to a therapist or a coach, doing journaling, talking to friends and family about your emotions. And this is why I talk about making my home into my personal sanctuary, doing things to make your home feel cozy, getting nice lighting, getting nice soft furnishings, adding things into your home and make it feel safe, secure, homely. And again, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but this is absolutely something you can do to increase your feeling of personal safety. budgeting and creating an emergency fund for yourself. As I've said in previous videos, I've been that person who's been at the bottom of my overdraft, maxed out the credit cards, not had enough money to pay for my food shop, wondered how I'm going to pay the next bill. It's not a fun place to be. It's not a secure place to be. It does not feel good. And I don't want to go back to that place. So creating safety nets for yourself over time, adding a bit of money to a savings pot every month to build up that security for yourself. For future you. You're laying the foundations for your future self. Next layer is love and belonging. So feeling connected to other people, feeling like you fit in, that you belong, not feeling like you have to change yourself to be able to be accepted as part of a group. Having connections with people that really just get you. Finding your people, not trying to change and mold yourself into a version of you that they'll accept, but actually being the real you and finding friends and connections with people who actually want to be around you. And I think one of the biggest life lessons as you're growing up is realizing that it's okay to let go of those friendships or those relationships with people where you find yourself trying to mold yourself to those people. Sometimes it's actually better to be lonely and to not have those relationships than it is to try and change yourself. You have to get to a place where you're okay with being on your own and not being surrounded by the wrong people just because they happen to be there. The next layer is esteem needs. Now, I talk a lot about confidence on this channel and a lot with my coaching clients about confidence. So I could go on about this one for ages. So here are a few things that you can do for self-care to boost your sense of esteem. Giving yourself time. So giving yourself time before you start giving it away to everybody else. This was a game changer for me, especially coming out of being a people pleaser. Giving myself a bit of a morning routine before I start work so that I am filling my own cup before I start pouring out to everybody else. Showing yourself that you're worthy and that you're capable of doing hard things. So booking yourself onto that course, learning a new skill, showing up for yourself, being disciplined, committing to the workout program and actually doing it. Being realistic about what you can actually do in one day, not writing yourself gigantic to-do lists and then getting annoyed that you haven't actually completed everything on that to-do list. But realistically, you never were going to be able to because there's 1,000 things on there. Can you tell that I'm speaking from experience? Respecting yourself enough to dream big and to apply yourself to new challenges, not self-sabotaging. I'm currently reading the book The Mountain Is You by Brianna West, and I am learning so much about self-sabotage. I'll leave that linked in the description box below. And it talks a lot about how we hold ourselves back from opportunities because we don't feel like we're worthy of them. If you're dealing with anything like that, I'd highly recommend reading this book. It's brilliant. Applying for that course, starting that YouTube channel, starting the business that you've been thinking about for ages. So getting to know yourself really well. So really having a good understanding of your own strengths, your abilities, what your core values are, what drives you as a person. Thanking your past self for the decisions and the commitments that have got you to where you are today. And committing to your future self that you will continue working to build a beautiful life for yourself. Respecting yourself enough to be well-groomed and to dress in the clothes that make you feel good. There's something magical about presenting yourself in the way that you want to and feeling good in your clothes, ironing your clothes, keeping your shoes clean, treating yourself to nice things and nice experiences. Now, I know I said at the start of this video that this isn't about spending money, but this can mean anything. This can mean taking yourself out for 10 minutes to sit in the sun and just enjoy listening to the birds and relaxing. The next layer is intellectual needs. So, for example, reading instead of doom scrolling. I know that this is groundbreaking, but actually doing something to stimulate your mind rather than just being fed short form content. Pushing yourself to learn something new, like a new language or a musical instrument, or learn about different cultures and religions. Self-development, so taking courses, having coaching. And the next layer is about making life as easy and joyful and peaceful as possible. And I made a whole video about this called Soft Life, and you guys seemed to love that video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it up above. This is about making life comfortable for yourself, making life easy, like not overcomplicating things and adding in as much ease and peace as possible. So adding in things like meditation or prayer, spending time in nature, writing in a gratitude journal, watching sunrises and sunsets, listening to relaxing music, and doing things that make your future life easier. So setting up your outfits for the week ahead or making yourself lunches for the week ahead. So I've told you all this great stuff and you're probably like, yes, Sarah, this sounds amazing, but how do I actually fit this into my current life? So I'm going to give you 6 ways that you can incorporate this into routines in your life. First of all, I'd like you to think about where you are starting. So I know I gave you those different layers and the tiers. So what are you most missing from your life? If you are literally scraping by right now and feeling like, I'm not eating very well, I'm not exercising very well, I'm not sleeping very well, like get those basics sorted first and foremost and really focus on those. Double down, go all in, focus on them for a good 30 days, continue focusing on them for the rest of your life, but like really go hard for the next 30 days and say, I'm going to be so disciplined with my sleep and going to bed early. I'm going to be really good at making sure that I do some yoga every day because it makes me feel good. I'm going to make sure that I get my 5 a day fruit and veg to make myself feel good every day, or whatever that looks like for you. If you start doing these things and make them a regular part of your day, you'll eventually start doing them on autopilot. You won't even think about it. It'll be like brushing your teeth. You just go ahead and do it without really thinking about it. You already have habits and routines in your life, and do something called habit stacking, which is just adding a habit onto another habit that you already do. So if you're already brushing your teeth, you add another habit onto that, which could be taking your vitamins. I'd highly recommend reading the book Atomic Habits if you want to learn more about building good habits into your life. And I've linked my habit tracker down in the description box below. So if you want to grab that, it's totally free and you can use that to start building these habits into your daily routine. One of the ways that I've built self-care into my routine and how I help my coaching clients, and of course, if we were on a one-to-one call or on a group call, I'd be able to help you with this a bit more closely, but you can work this stuff out for yourself just by watching this video. So first of all is a morning routine. And this is all about giving yourself some time first thing before you go out into the world and start giving your time and energy to everybody else. You're doing something for you. So build a morning routine that makes you feel good. There are plenty of videos out there, including some of mine, where people are talking about what they do in the morning to make themselves feel good. You can experiment and figure out what that looks like for you. It doesn't have to follow some strict regimen. It doesn't have to follow what everyone else is doing. Find what works for you and meets your self-care needs. This changed my life when I was busy and overwhelmed and a total people pleaser. I used to wake up in the morning and immediately be on someone else's timeline because I didn't give myself any time in the morning. I was just like, right, get up, go to work, I'm immediately on. That was not fun. So getting up early and giving yourself a bit of time to just be yourself and have a slow start to your day. Second way that you can add self-care into your life is to plan ahead. Do whatever you can to make life easier for future you. So planning your meals ahead, planning your week ahead, planning your outfits ahead. Make life easy. The third way that I like to do this is with a weekly reset. So I've mentioned this a couple of times on this channel, but if you want me to make a full-length video about my weekly reset, then do let me know. I actually do a weekly reset and a monthly reset. And basically what this looks like is me planning the meals for the week and sometimes doing some batch cooking, cleaning the house, running any errands, and getting really clear on what the week ahead looks like. This just helps me feel calm and ready for the week ahead and allows me to start the week on a fresh slate. So yeah, if you want me to make a video about that, just let me know in the comments. The fourth way of doing this is adding in guilt-free relaxation to your week. You may have heard me talking about this before. Guilt-free relaxation is when you are properly switched off. You've taken off your work identity. You've taken off the identity of having to be a partner, a friend, a sister, a brother, any of those labels that we have, and just giving yourself some time to just be you. Having some time in your week where nobody needs you, nobody wants you, and you can just switch off. I never used to do this. I used to think about work constantly. I would be at work and then I would come home and worry about work. I would spend my weekends feeling anxious about work. I would dream about work. So although I was only working a certain number of hours a week, in my own mind, I was at work all the time. And so you have to be able to come up with ways of taking that identity off. Guilt-free relaxation is a time to do this. Ideally, you'd be doing this as much as possible. But with my coaching clients, I always suggest starting with 2 hours a week. Actually put it in your schedule and say like Saturday afternoon, I'm giving myself 2 hours and I am going for a long walk or a swim. Nobody's going to need me. Nobody's going to want me. If you've got kids, get them, make sure they're looked after. If you've got other responsibilities, make sure they're sorted. and just go and have some you time. The fifth way of adding self-care is your regular routine. This is a fun one. This is a monthly date day. Again, this is something I get all my coaching clients to do. Take yourself somewhere lovely and just relax. Go and do whatever you want. Now, in an ideal world, I suggest that we all have like a day a month that we go and do this. I realize that this might not be realistic or achievable for all of us, but even if you can schedule in an afternoon once a month or a morning once a month where you go and take yourself somewhere lovely and you just enjoy it, whether that's going off for a beautiful walk somewhere or going and having a look around some shops or an art gallery, go and do something lovely that is different from your usual routine and just switch off and enjoy yourself. And finally, the sixth way that I suggest adding self-care into your routine is by using a habit tracker. I already mentioned it earlier in this video and I have linked it down below. I've got a shorts video where I explain exactly how I use that, so you can go check that out on my channel. And that is it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it's been a long one, but I wanted to do a deep dive so that you've got a really good understanding of what self-care actually looks like and how to build that into your habits, routines, and systems of your day-to-day life. So let me know down in the comments if you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed, I would absolutely love to have you be part of this family, part of this community. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And I will see you in the next one. And just as a side note, I want to say thank you to all of you for leaving such lovely comments under my videos recently. I am loving reading all these comments that are coming through. And I just feel like we're building a bit of a little community here. So thank you. Thank you for being part of this.